10 years ago, the largest and most prestigious hospital in the city, known as St. Michael's Memorial, was a beacon of hope for thousands of families. From simple checkups to complicated surgeries, people flocked from all corners of the country to seek treatment there. The hospital was the pride of the city until that dreadful night that changed everything. Chioma was a young woman full of life and hope. She was well loved in her community, with a smile that could light up the darkest room. On that fateful night, Chioma arrived at the hospital to give birth to her first child. Her husband, Amika, held her hand as they walked through the entrance, feeling a mixture of nervousness and excitement. The nurses reassured them that everything would be fine, but something went horribly wrong. Hours turned into an agonizing ordeal, and soon the hallways were filled with frantic calls for help. The doctors worked tirelessly, but Chioma and her baby didn't survive the delivery. A dark, suffocating silence fell over the hospital that night, as if the very walls absorbed her dying wails. Chioma's spirit, unable to rest, twisted in grief and rage. The injustice of her death and the loss of her child drove her to madness, a madness that tied her soul to St. Michael's Memorial forever. Strange incidents began happening soon after Chioma's death. A mother giving birth in the same ward where Chioma had died saw her newborn baby mysteriously pass away hours after birth. Another mother heard ghostly whispers urging her to leave. She fled, and her baby survived. But those who stayed were not as fortunate. One by one, the babies born in that hospital started to die. The joyful cries that once filled the delivery rooms were replaced with chilling screams and the wails of mothers who had lost their children. Rumors spread quickly. Chioma's spirit, driven by the desire to seek vengeance for her lost child, ensured that no other baby born in that hospital would ever take their first breath. It wasn't just the maternity ward that felt her wrath. The once bustling hospital, filled with patients and doctors, slowly began to empty. People claimed to hear a baby crying late at night, footsteps echoing down empty corridors, and a woman sobbing endlessly. Chioma's grief consumed the hospital, her cries echoing through the halls, haunting anyone who dared enter. The unlucky ones who stayed too long never left alive. Over the years, the once great St. Michael's Memorial became a place of fear. The grand entrance doors were locked, the windows shattered, and the sterile halls filled with dust and decay. Locals avoided the hospital at all costs, whispering stories of the vengeful spirit of Chioma, warning travelers and newcomers to stay away. But every night, something strange happened. As darkness fell, the lights of the abandoned hospital would flicker on, bright and inviting. From a distance, it appeared as if the hospital had come back to life, ready to receive patients once more. The locals knew better than to approach, but foreigners and those new to the area saw the brightly lit building and were fooled. They wandered in, seeking help or refuge, unaware of the evil that awaited them. One night, a group of travelers arrived in the city. They had been driving for hours and were looking for a place to rest. Seeing the brightly lit hospital, they assumed it was still in operation. The locals watched in silence as the travelers entered the building, too scared to warn them. The travelers stepped inside, the air suddenly turning cold. The reception area seemed eerily preserved, as if untouched by time. A strange feeling crept over them, but they brushed it aside, thinking it was just exhaustion. One of them, a young woman named Ada, approached the reception desk, calling out for assistance. Suddenly, the lights flickered, and a soft cry echoed through the hallway, a baby's cry. The travelers exchanged nervous glances. "Did you hear that?" Ada whispered, her voice trembling. "It's probably just an old speaker system," her friend Tunda replied, trying to stay calm. "Let's just find someone and get out of here." They moved deeper into the hospital, the cries growing louder and more persistent. Shadows danced along the walls and the air grew colder with each step. They passed by the maternity ward, and there, at the end of the corridor, they saw her, Chioma. Her figure was translucent, her eyes hollow and filled with sorrow. She held a bundle in her arms, rocking it gently. The travelers froze, fear gripping their hearts as they realized they were not alone. Chioma looked up, her eyes locking onto theirs. Her sorrow turned to rage, and the walls of the hospital seemed to tremble. The doors slammed shut, and the lights flickered violently. The baby's cry turned into a high-pitched wail that echoed through their minds, drowning out their thoughts. The locals watched from a distance as the lights in the hospital flickered wildly before going out completely. They knew what had happened. Chioma had claimed more souls. The travelers were never seen again, their fate sealed within the haunted walls of St. Michael's Memorial. Many spiritualists had tried to appease Chioma over the years, but none had succeeded. Her rage was unquenchable, her sorrow eternal. Every night the hospital continued to light up, luring in the unsuspecting and the curious. And every night, Chioma took her revenge, ensuring that no one who entered ever left. The city remained in the shadow of the abandoned hospital, the fear of Chioma's wrath keeping everyone away. The once great beacon of hope had become a symbol of death and despair, a reminder of the tragedy that had unfolded within its walls. To this day, no one dares approach St. Michael's Memorial. The lights still turn on every night, a beacon to the lost and the damned. The locals know anyone who enters will never return, for Chioma and her child are still there, waiting, forever haunting the place where they met their untimely end.
Subscribe for more stories and give this video a thumbs up.